wasn't supposed to be home that night, and the bedroom upstairs ended everything.
I never expected my life to unravel inside a stranger's bedroom. But that's exactly where everything I believed in came crashing down. The night began quietly, almost deceptively kind. I followed the same routine I always did, habits I trusted more than my own instincts. I came home early, feeling nothing but the familiar weight of exhaustion and the comfort of my own space. But as soon as I stepped inside, the silence felt wrong. It was a heavy, loaded silence that I couldn't quite name at first. Then I started noticing the small things, the details that didn't belong. A pair of shoes by the door that weren't mine. A faint scent in the air that wasn't ours. And music playing so softly from upstairs it couldn't have been an accident. My heart was pounding, a frantic drumbeat in my chest telling me to just turn around, to walk out the door and preserve my ignorance. But love has this cruel way of demanding answers, even when you know they're going to destroy you. As I climbed the stairs and reached the hallway, time seemed to slow down, becoming thick and heavy, like I was moving through water. I saw a door slightly ajar that should have been closed, my bedroom door. And through that crack, a life was exposed that should have been protected. What I saw didn't shock me as much as the sudden, gut-wrenching understanding that flooded my mind. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a single, reckless moment. This was a choice, one that had been repeated often enough to feel normal to them. I just stood there, probably longer than I should have, watching the familiar landscape of my life warp into a scene of betrayal. The room felt smaller with every breath I took, and a fire started burning in my chest. A mix of disbelief and a chilling, sharp clarity. In that moment, anger didn't roar. It didn't explode. It sharpened. It focused. It stripped away all the hesitation and left me with pure, raw instinct. I didn't shout. I didn't break down and cry. I moved. I moved because something inside me had shattered in a way that demanded action, not noise. What happened next was fast, a blur of motion and consequence that could never be undone. Pain echoed through that room, and it wasn't just physical. It was a permanent kind of pain, the kind no apology could ever touch or heal. And when it was over, I didn't run. Running would have felt like shame, and I felt absolutely none. I stayed right there, breathing through the chaos, trying to understand that my life had just been violently bent into a completely different shape. Eventually, the authorities arrived. The flashing lights, the uniforms, the questions, it all followed in a methodical procession. And I answered every single one of them with the same strange calm that had replaced the initial shock. The days that followed were so much louder than the event itself. I saw faces everywhere watching me, their eyes filled with judgment, with morbid curiosity, and sometimes with something that looked uncomfortably like understanding. Stories started spreading, twisting and turning, moving faster than the truth ever does, but I just let them. I had nothing left to hide. When it came time for court, I stood up and told my story. I didn't dress it up. I didn't cut corners or try to make myself look better. I spoke about the trust that had been built over years, a foundation I thought was solid rock. I talked about the silence I had mistaken for safety and what it feels like to stand in your own home and realize that it's no longer yours. I didn't ask for sympathy. All I asked for was to be understood. And the most surprising thing wasn't the verdict. It was the immense weight that lifted from my shoulders the moment the truth was finally spoken out loud for everyone to hear. There were consequences, of course, as there should be, but with those consequences came a clarity I had never known. I learned that love doesn't protect you from pain. What it does is teach you who you are when that pain finally arrives. I walked out of that chapter of my life feeling lighter. Not because I had won anything, but because I had finally stopped carrying a lie that was never mine to begin with. Some doors in life close violently. Others close quietly, with a soft click of understanding. But both kinds change you forever. I don't celebrate what happened that night. I accept it. And I move forward, knowing that real dignity doesn't come from having a perfect life. It comes from refusing to live on your knees once the truth is standing right in front of you. And that was the real end. The end of my marriage, the end of my illusion, and the end of the man I used to be. Thank you for listening.